Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, So Little Time, and my name is Karen. So today's vlog then is going to be all about the things I've been making recently. Now I had a stack of plans when I spoke to you last. I can't remember when it was now, maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago at the middle of June actually, wasn't it? Yeah, and I haven't had a chance to get everything made that I wanted to. It's been really busy. I've been obviously marathon training and looking after a young family. You know, sometimes things just have to take a back seat, and unfortunately my sewing has suffered because of that. And I have missed actually getting on my sewing machine as much as I was before, but I think trying to cram in too much is just not healthy. So I have made a few items and I've still got all my other things planned to get made, but they're just cut out at the moment, ready to go. So it is just a case of sewing them up. So my plans are going to stay the same. So I'll just go through with what I have been making, and I'll firstly show you the jumpers or sweatshirts for my sons. And I've made the Rowan Tee by Titchy Threads, and I've done obviously one for each of them. So the first one is this one. And this is with the fabric that I got from Doo Fabrics, and this is just a standard jersey, and I've just added contrast cuffs and a grey fabric on the hood, and then I actually used the sweatshirt jersey fabric that I got from Guthrie & Garney, which I used for my Blackwood cardigan. And I've also put it on the bottom as well of that one. So I've just used scraps that I had left over just to create this, because I only had 1 metre, I think, of this fabric, so I didn't have quite enough to do the whole sweatshirt. So that's for one of my twins, and then this one is for another one of my twins, and I've done the same, but this time I've done it with the grey sleeves and the mustard contrast on the cuffs and on the hemband, and I've done it on the hood as well, just so it's the same sort of colour combination, but they've each got a slightly different one, because I do quite like that, doing that with my twins. I don't like to dress them exactly the same. I like them to have like contrasting things. So they each chose one that they like. I can't remember which one's which now. They've not worn them yet just because it's been too warm, so we're planning to take them on holiday with us, so they can wear them after they've been on the beach, because they might just get a little bit chilly after they've been in the water. And then this is for my eldest, and I've used this, I think it's a French terry, yeah, French terry, this one, and I just used the same fabric throughout on this one, purely because I had enough just to do one sweatshirt. So inside the hood is the same as well. It's got these lovely sharks on there, and this feels really lovely. This is nice and squidgy. And what I will say though about the Rowan Tee is that it is quite slim fitting for a kind of a sweatshirty top. Yeah, so it is quite narrow. So if you do ever make these, just take that into consideration, because next time I might either do a smaller seam allowance or make the pattern slightly wider. I don't think I need to size up, because then it would just be too big in the arms and that kind of thing. And I've used my overlocker to do all the finishes on that, and that looks really nice and neat. So really pleased with those. So like I say, they haven't actually worn them yet, but they'll probably wear them on holiday and then to the back end of this year. And then for me then, I made the Colette Laurel dress, which is my most recent make, and that's what I'm wearing now. Now this fabric is from Minerva Crafts, which was gifted to me in return for a blog post. So I'm yet to take photos and do the blog post. I'm a little bit late with it because I've had severe issues with this make. So the Colette Laurel then, I was imagining it to be quite a straightforward sew, because I think it is sort of gauged towards beginner sewers, and it is a basic pattern, although it does have an invisible zip in the back, but it wasn't straightforward for me, purely because of the fit. Now it's a shift dress, and you know what I've said in the past about shift dresses, that I get excess fabric at the base of my back because I've got a slight sway back, and also because my waist is a lot smaller than my hips. There's quite a distance, you know, with the fabric, the way it falls. So yeah, I just had a right pain with this one, to be honest. So I cut out the size. Now I was going to size down from what I'd made the Colette Peony. I think with the Colette Peony I'd made a size, I think it was a size 8, a straight 8, which fitted fine. And then I thought, oh, I'll do a size 6 for this one to size down, just because it had a lot of ease in the pattern. But no, what I ended up doing was, I think I cut out oh, what size was it now that I cut out? It might have been an 8 actually. I started cutting out just because I was going to go for the 6, but then the ease at the hip, there wasn't much between my hip measurement and the ease, the difference in the finished garment measurements. So I thought, oh, I'll go to a size 8 because that gives me a bit more room in the bum. But then it was absolutely massive around my waist area. So I then decided to alter my own pattern, and it was also way too big at the top as well. So I took it in. I had it sleeveless and I took it in on my toile, and just did my usual adjustment. The way I take things in is just go back onto the sewing machine and whiz down the side seams until I get the fit that I desire, basically. So what I then did was try to take those changes onto the actual pattern. So I laid my original pattern piece over the dress, which I had inside out, and I followed the stitch lines that I'd done and traced those onto my pattern piece, which I'd used tracing paper for. And then when I laid that then on the original pattern, I could see that the arms were more of a size 4 at the top, and I'd actually graded in to like less than the size 0 on the pattern. So completely different shape to the dress, really. And then I graded back out to an 8 at the hips. So then I thought that I'd got my official pattern piece, cut it out into this fabric, but then when I tried it on, the shape was just wrong. It just was still really baggy at the hips, and it just looked weird, I don't know. So I then again went back to the sewing machine and started whizzing down the sides until I got the desired shape. So I now do need to transfer those changes to the other pattern that I've traced off. So basically the dress is nowhere near the shape of the Colette Laurel at all. So it's a size 4 at the top, and as are the sleeves, and then the waist is definitely less than the 0 still, and I think the hips could be between a 4 and a 6 on the pattern. I'm not sure because I've not changed the pattern pieces yet, and to be honest, I'm so traumatised by this make that I don't know if I'm going to bother making it ever again. I really don't know. It got to the point where I was just like, do you know what, shift dresses just aren't for me. So I've actually swapped that pattern with somebody on Instagram, and I'm just waiting for the Grainline Willow tank to arrive, which I've done a direct swap for that. I'm happy with the dress now, the way it's turned out, but it was a lot of work to get it to this shape. So I'll stand back so you can see the finished dress. But yeah, don't take this as the Colette Laurel, because it really isn't the Colette Laurel anymore, apart from the sleeves. So yes, I'll just stand back so you can see. Okay, so I've got a belt on with it, and I've just basically skimmed it past my hips, and it's got darts in the back. Now I really like that because it does bring it in at the back a lot more. And then I've done the sleeves with the fluted edges, which I really, really like that. And then it's also got a bias bound neckline. Yes, it's got a bias bound neckline, an invisible zip in the back. And to be honest, I'm not 100% sure what size the zip should have been, because I'd already sent the pattern off to be swapped at that point when I got to that stage. So I just put a 22-inch invisible zipper in. So that goes quite far down the back, but that enables me to unzip the dress and take it on and off by stepping in and out, so I don't have to actually put it over my head, which is quite nice. Yeah, and the sleeves, they fit beautifully, and I really like the construction of those. This, I think, is probably one of my first set-in sleeves, and it's gone in really well. There's not really any puckers, I don't think. I've done that quite well. And then I've bias bound the hem as well, if I can show you, just here, like flashing too much. Just again to give it that little bit of weight at the bottom. This is a poly cotton, and it's really good quality because I've not lined the dress and it's not see-through at all. I mean, I've got that mustard bias binding there, and I don't think you can see that through there, and on the bottom as well. So I do recommend this fabric. Now, I did think this fabric was quite childlike, and I have got a little bit left over, so I'm probably going to make it into a little girl's dress for my friend. But I do really like the pattern on this, although I'm really, really glad that I've got the belt on with it, because it does break it up because it's quite busy. Now without the belt on, the shape is still fine. I can wear it without the belt, it's absolutely fine. But I find that because it's such a busy print, it does look like posh hospital scrubs a little bit. Yeah, so I don't think I'll wear it without the belt, to be honest. So anyway, I'm pleased with this make now, and I thought I'd show this to you today because I've been wearing it, and I've had loads of compliments whilst wearing it today and also on my Instagram as well. So yeah, but I just don't know whether I'll ever make that dress again. I think somebody actually did comment on my Instagram page to say that that pattern has since been altered by Colette because a lot of people had fit issues. Whether that is the case, I don't know. I don't know if mine was an old copy or a newer one. I don't know. I've had it a few years. Let's just put it that way. And it was on my Mate 9, so at least I've ticked that off there. Yeah, so also because I've had obviously this experience of a shift dress, I decided to give away the ultimate shift dress by Sew Over It as well. I just could not bring myself to make another shift dress. And I've heard obviously fit issues with the Sew Over It one. A lot of people have problems with the arms, and I thought I just cannot. Sometimes some patterns are just too much hassle and it becomes a chore rather than an enjoyable process of sewing. So I swapped that as well. And I've actually swapped that for the Sew Over It Ultimate trousers, as I'd like to give those a go. Perhaps not this year, we'll see how my sewing goes. So the next thing I made was the New Look 6446 jumpsuit. So that's this one here. And I've made this version and I did keep the leg length exactly as it is on this pattern, which fits fine. The only thing I didn't do, I have cut out the belt, but I've not actually made it. I ran out of time when I was actually making it. I was making it this one week and I wanted to wear it out on a Friday night when I was going out with some friends. So I literally sewed it out really quick. So I bought some fabric from Stewart's Fabrics on the Leicester market and on the outside market. And it was only £6 a metre. And I'm not 100% sure of the composition of this fabric. It's like, I'll show it you when I pop it on, but it's got really good drape to it and good weight. And it doesn't crease at all, which is great. You can just shove it in the wash and put it straight back on again. But I did wonder how I was going to get on with it, but it cut out and sewed up absolutely fine. So the version I'm going to show you is actually my toile, and I haven't made the official one yet, which was out of that gorgeous viscose that I got, the cream background with the blue flowers on. Now, I did say that Crafty So-and-so had that in stock in their shop, and they do, but mine is actually a viscose. It's not a cotton lawn, but the version that Crafty So-and-so have got is a cotton lawn. So I went into the shop and I felt it and I was like, yeah, there's a difference in the texture. So mine is a viscose. But I'm still going to use that as the official one. I've got it cut out. Again, I just haven't got round to sewing it. I've just been wearing my other one so much, but I do need to make sure I line that official one with maybe some cream or white cotton lawn underneath, because I think if I tried to self-line it with the same fabric, you'd see the blue flowers coming through the other side, so I don't think that would work, whereas this one I've used on the inside the same as the outside. So I shall pop it on anyway so you can see, because I'm absolutely over the moon with it. So back in a moment. Okay, so here it is. It's a nice sort of paisley and floral fabric. Like I say, it's got good weight to it. It's probably got a bit of a polyester content in it, I would say. Yeah, but it's a really nice weight. So I'll stand back so you can see it in its full glory, and then I'll come back and talk to you in a little bit more detail. So it's got pockets here, and it's nicely fitted through the waist here. There's a seam line here, invisible zip all the way up the back. So it's that length there. Yeah, really nice sort of weight, really hangs well. Nicely fitted around there. Okay, so you are supposed to interface this band at the top here, but I've not bothered with that just because I didn't have any interfacing for one, and secondly I thought with this weight fabric it didn't need it because it is lined inside with exactly the same fabric. Yeah, and I really like the straps because they cover your bra straps. The make was really, really straightforward. I got on with it with absolutely no problem whatsoever. And I was really, really lucky as well that this pattern fits me straight out of the packet. So I went with a size 12, which is a bust 34. a waist of 26.5 inches and a hip of 36. Now I've said in the past I'm a 34 bust, so that's completely accurate for my bust, but my waist is a 29 and my hips are a 41. Now the finished garment measurements say that the chest is a 35.5 inch. So that gives 1.5 inches of ease. Now when I opened up all the pattern pieces, it actually gives you the finished garment measurements on the pattern pieces, so I could work out how much ease there was for the waist and the hips. So I knew that if I was to go by my body measurements, I would have been making probably a size 14 or a 16. Now that would have turned out absolutely huge, and I know a lot of the big four companies, they do tend to come up on the larger size, I think, when people make them. So I just thought I'd go with the size 12 and alter as necessary, but like I say, it just fitted perfectly out of the packet, so I've just been really lucky. And it's got some darts in the back. I think there's bust darts. No, there's not normal bust darts in the front. It's darts at the front here that come up there, and then there's a couple of pleats just here. It's really good. You're not going to see this in this fabric, just here and here, and that doesn't give like an effect of a belly, which is quite nice. And then these big pockets here, which the construction of those I really liked. You just folded over the piece of material and then stitched it somehow, and it just creates the pockets. It's really quite nice and easy. The zip has gone in perfectly, and this is again a 22-inch invisible zipper in the back. I did have to move it over slightly at the very top of my back, just because that was slightly more gapey. So I just brought the fabric in and used a bigger seam allowance literally at the top, and then as I went down I put it back to the 5/8 of an inch. So that works out absolutely fine, and I absolutely love this jumpsuit. I've worn it out on a night out. I went to see Westlife in concert with my mum, and I wore it out for that. Now I'm not a Westlife fan at all. My mum's really into them, and we just went together. She bought the tickets, and it was in Nottingham at the Motorpoint Arena. And I have to tell you, it was such a good night. I had such a good feel-good evening. And I obviously know all their songs because they've been in the charts for years. But I just had such a good night. The music was such a, I don't know, the atmosphere was really good. They put on a really good show, and also, you know, they're nice eye candy to look at, the same sort of age as me. So yeah, it was just a really good night. So thoroughly enjoyable, and I felt really, you know, nice in this outfit. And I have wore it just on school pickup days, that kind of thing. It's just a really versatile jumpsuit. You can dress it up, dress it down. So when I dress it down, I wear it with sandals, you know, flip-flop type sandals. When I go out, I put heels on and a necklace, and, you know, jazz myself up a little bit more. So I'm really, really pleased with this. So I can't wait to get on with the viscose version. So we'll see how that fabric, you know, if it differs to the way it hangs and that kind of thing. And hopefully, I think it has got a bit more stretch in than this. So it might be that I have to do a bigger seam allowance on the zip again. So we'll see how I get on. But this does have a slight stretch in it. Again, I can't tell you 100% what this material is, but it was only £6 a metre on Stewart's Fabrics on the Leicester market, which was an absolute bargain. Yeah, so really, really pleased with this make. So that's all I've made at the moment. And I'm going on holiday this Saturday for a couple of weeks to Cornwall in the UK, so I'm not going to get obviously any sewing done whilst I'm away. Turn 40 whilst I'm away as well, on our last night there, so I'm looking forward to spending my birthday with my family away. I've got everything else cut out ready to go, so I am going to continue to sew, but I'm not going to promise that I'm going to get everything done by a certain time, just because, you know, it's really busy at the minute, with especially because the children are now breaking up from school this Friday, so it's going to be having the children at home all the time, so it's just going to be really busy. Now, as I haven't sewn everything up, there is one item that I was thinking that I might change my mind about. Now, if I spoke to you about this blue chambray material, Robert Kaufman one, and I was going to turn that into the Tilly in the Buttons, was it now? Yeah, Tilly in the Buttons Bettine dress. Now I'm thinking that actually I'm going to change my mind and make it into the Tilly in the Buttons Miette skirt which is this one here. And I've made it in the past in a pink chambray, and I absolutely love it. I wear it quite a lot during the summer, and I think that would make a really nice version. So there's enough material there to do that. And I think what I'd like to pair it with, which is why I've changed my mind, is I've got this fabric which I've had in my stash a little while. I can't remember where I got it from. I've only got a metre of it. It's a little bit like a linen. I think it might even be a linen actually, but it is quite see-through. So I'm definitely going to have to line this. Now I'm thinking of either making this into the grain line willow, which is obviously what I'm waiting for, or the grain line scout tee. But I want to crop it a little bit like my sparkly one that I made at Christmas last year. And then I thought it would pair up really nicely with that. So obviously having the stripes going horizontally and then having that as my miette skirt, I just thought that'd be a really nice sort of summer outfit. Really quite sea salt look, you know, if you know who sea salt are. Yeah, so let me know what you think about that. I think I might do that because I've still got that mustard double gauze to do the bateen, so that's all cut out ready to go. So I've still got that to do. I've got the cocoa dress to do with the other fabric that Rachel from the French team sent me. The Sew Over It Molly top, which is cut out ready to go, and the jumpsuit. So those are ones I want to get done. Now I also have got cut out another Ogden cami, and I can quickly show you the fabric that I've got for that because I think I got this from, I think it might have been the Frugal Fabric shop. Yeah, it's this lovely viscose. So I've only got a metre of that, and so I'm going to cut it out into the Ogden cami, but I'm going to do a sew along for it. So if you're interested in watching another sort of sewing tutorial for that, I'm going to be uploading that shortly. So I've got it cut out ready to go, and then I'll just go through the sewing with you. And I did contact True Bias just to ask their permission to do that, and they were happy with that and said, you know, just to let them know when I'd done it. So that's what I definitely will do. So that would be something up and coming for you. And sorry, I was just looking how much data I got left to get this video finished. And then I was also part of the Pattern Swap 2019 this year, which I think, like a lot of other sewing vloggers I've heard, found it quite brutal. But I did get some real gems, so I'll quickly just whiz through those with you. Now, I've picked up the Audrey dress here. I've really loved this pattern. I've seen it before and I've always wanted to get that. And I think that is completely me. Very Audrey Hepburn sort of style, fit and flare. I've got lovely pleats in, so that's definitely one I'm going to get done. I don't know whether it be this year, we'll see again. Picked up the New Look K6145. So this is a shift dress, I'm pretty sure. So we'll see how I go. I don't know. This might be one that I'll be re-swapping. We'll see. Yeah, I do like the neckline on that though. At the top, it's got quite a high neckline. I picked up New Look 6749, which is quite a nice little sort of summer dress. I'll turn it into a party dress. Yeah, I just like the seam lines on the bust there on that one. And then I picked up this New Look 6511. And I really like this. I've got a ready-to-wear dress which is very similar to this, sort of loose waist. So I'm going to do that. That will be done this year for sure. And I also picked up this skirt from Anna I can't remember what she's now on Instagram and YouTube. In Stitches maybe. It's a wrap skirt, very much like the miette. But what I didn't realise at the time was this is actually a 24 to 25 inch waist, which is tiny, so that's probably not going to fit me, so I don't know whether I'll do that one or not. And then this one is a Simplicity pattern 6216, which is a size 14, bust 34, so that should be okay. I really just like the high Empire line waist there on that one. Okay, so that was all the patterns that I picked up in the pattern swap. I did send out about 3 or 4 from myself, and then I've obviously also recently swapped those patterns that I didn't want to get on with. And then I've recently also purchased these patterns. So I've picked up the Nina Lee Camden Pinafore and skirt. So I definitely want to give that one a go this year. So what I might do is actually add that one onto my Make 9, because I've now given away the Sew Over It sew over it ultimate shift dress. That can take place for that one. And then the Jenny overalls by Closet Case Patterns, I picked up those because I really like the shape of those. Now on my Make 9 I have got the Tilly and the Buttons Mila dungarees to do, so I'll see, I might swap that, but I'm not sure. So I've ticked off at least the Laurel dress off my Make 9. Yeah, so that's good. And then I've got till the 13th of July to make up this top for the pattern swap, but I'm not really going to get that done, am I? No, not with going on holiday. So that's it for today anyway. So I hope you enjoyed that video, and I'll come back to you very soon with some more of my makes and that sew along for the True Bias Ogden cami. Thanks for watching. See you soon. Bye.